Imagine a shark so enormous it could swallow a small car in a single bite. This was no monster from a movie. It was a real animal that swam in our oceans millions of years ago. We call it Orthodus megalodon, or just megalodon for short. This name means big tooth, and for good reason. Its teeth were the size of a human hand, sharp and serrated like a steak knife. These incredible fossils are the main clues scientists have to piece together the story of this ancient predator. For over 20 million years, the megalodon was the undisputed ruler of the seas, a true apex predator with no natural enemies. The megalodon was not just big, it was a colossal force of nature. Scientists estimate it could grow up to 60 feet long, or even more. That is 3 times longer than the biggest great white shark alive today. Its body was a powerful torpedo of muscle, built for speed and ambush. Its jaws could open wide enough to engulf 2 adult humans standing side by side. When those jaws snapped shut, they delivered one of the most powerful bites in the history of life on Earth. It was a perfectly evolved hunting machine, a testament to nature's ability to create creatures of immense scale and power. This giant shark lived in a world that was much warmer than our own. During its heyday, Earth's climate was balmy and the oceans were full of life. Megalodon was a globetrotter, its fossilized teeth found on every continent except Antarctica. It preferred the warm coastal waters, which acted as perfect hunting grounds. These shallow seas were teeming with large marine mammals, particularly whales. These slow-moving, blubbery animals were the main course on the megalodon's menu. It was a golden age for the giant shark, a time of plenty where it sat comfortably at the top of the food chain. For millions of years, the megalodon's reign was absolute. It was the master of its domain, shaping the marine ecosystems around it. The presence of such a massive predator would have influenced the behavior and evolution of other sea creatures. Whales may have developed new strategies to avoid being eaten, and other smaller sharks would have steered clear of its territory. The megalodon was more than just a big fish. It was a keystone species, a central pillar holding up the entire structure of the ocean's food web. Its story is a powerful reminder of how dominant a single species can become. The world, however, does not stay the same forever. About 3 million years ago, the Earth began to change in a big way. The planet started to cool down, entering a period we now call the Ice Ages. Massive sheets of ice, or glaciers, began to form at the poles, locking up vast amounts of water. This caused sea levels to drop dramatically all over the world. The warm, shallow coastal waters that the megalodon called home started to disappear. The Ocean King was suddenly finding its kingdom shrinking, its comfortable palace of warm water becoming a smaller, colder, and less welcoming place to live and hunt. This climate change had a direct impact on the megalodon's food supply. The giant shark was a specialist hunter. It needed large, high-energy meals to fuel its massive body. Its favorite prey, the medium-sized whales, could not cope with the changing environment. As the oceans cooled, many of these whale species either went extinct or migrated to the colder polar waters where the megalodon could not follow. The once reliable buffet of blubbery whales was vanishing. The megalodon was left with a dwindling menu, forced to hunt smaller, faster prey that was harder to catch and provided less energy. At the same time, a new rival appeared on the scene. This was a smaller, more adaptable shark that we know very well today, the great white shark. While not as large as the megalodon, the great white was clever and resilient. It was more of a generalist, able to eat a wider variety of food, from seals to smaller fish. It could also tolerate cooler waters, giving it a distinct advantage as the planet's climate shifted. The great white and other new predators began to compete with the megalodon for the remaining food sources, putting even more pressure on the giant. This combination of factors created a perfect storm for the megalodon's downfall. It was a triple threat that the mighty shark could not overcome. First, its home was changing, becoming colder and smaller. Second, its primary food source was disappearing, leaving it hungry. Third, new and more agile competitors were moving in, stealing the food that was left. The king of the ocean was being attacked on all fronts, not by a bigger predator, but by the slow, relentless forces of environmental change and competition. Its very size, once its greatest strength, was now becoming its greatest weakness. The extinction of the megalodon was not a sudden, dramatic event like the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs. It was a slow, drawn-out process that likely unfolded over 1 million years or more. Scientists can trace this decline through the fossil record. The number of megalodon teeth found in younger rock layers becomes progressively smaller. This tells a story of a population in decline, a species slowly fading away. It was a gradual disappearance, a long goodbye rather than a swift execution. The giant was not vanquished in a single battle, but was worn down by a long war of attrition against a changing world. Imagine being the last megalodon. It would have been a lonely existence. The world it was born into was different from the one its ancestors knew. The oceans were colder, the familiar whale songs were gone, replaced by the silence of extinction. It would have struggled to find enough food to survive, constantly searching for meals that were becoming rarer and rarer. This final generation of megalodons would have been smaller and weaker than their mighty predecessors, a shadow of the species' former glory. The long, slow decline was a tragic final chapter for such a magnificent creature. Scientists believe the final nail in the coffin was the complete loss of its nursery areas. Like many sharks today, Megalodon probably gave birth in safe, shallow, and warm coastal lagoons. These were places where the pups could grow, protected from larger predators and with plenty of small fish to eat. As the ice ages progressed and sea levels dropped, these vital nurseries were destroyed. They either dried up or became too cold. Without a safe place to raise their young, the megalodon could not reproduce effectively. The population could not replenish itself, and the path to extinction became inevitable. The final megalodon likely died alone, its passing unnoticed, about 2.6 million years ago. With its death, the reign of the giant sharks came to a quiet end. The oceans were forever changed. A new top predator, the more versatile great white shark, rose to take its place. The story of the megalodon's slow extinction is a powerful lesson in evolution. It shows that no species, no matter how big or powerful, is immune to extinction. Survival is not always about being the strongest. It is about being able to adapt to a world that is in constant motion. Studying the megalodon's disappearance is more than just solving an ancient mystery. It provides scientists with crucial insights into how life on Earth responds to major environmental shifts. By examining the fossil record, we can see a direct link between climate change, food web collapse, and extinction. The megalodon story is a case study written in stone, showing how even the most dominant species can be brought down when its environment changes too quickly. It teaches us about the delicate balance of ecosystems and how the loss of one key species can have ripple effects throughout the entire food chain. These lessons from the past are incredibly relevant to our world today. We are currently living through a period of rapid climate change caused by human activity. Temperatures are rising, sea levels are climbing, and ocean chemistry is changing at an alarming rate. We are witnessing many species struggling to adapt, just as the megalodon did millions of years ago. The story of the ancient shark serves as a stark warning. The same forces that drove the megalodon to extinction, habitat loss and a changing food supply, are threatening countless species in our own time, from polar bears to coral reefs. The disappearance of the megalodon also highlights the importance of biodiversity. When the megalodon vanished, it left a huge gap at the top of the food chain. While other species like the great white shark eventually filled that role, the ecosystem was destabilized for a long time. Today, we are facing a modern extinction crisis, losing species at a rate faster than ever before. Every time a species goes extinct, it is like removing a piece from a complex machine. The machine might continue to run for a while, but with enough pieces gone, it will eventually break down completely. Ultimately, the tale of the megalodon is a humbling one. It reminds us that our planet has a long history of powerful rulers who rose and fell. For 20 million years, the megalodon was the king, and it seemed invincible. Yet, it vanished. As the current dominant species on Earth, we have a responsibility to learn from this history. Understanding why the megalodon went extinct helps us understand the fragility of our own existence and the importance of protecting our planet. It teaches us that we must be wise stewards of the Earth, or we too might one day become just another fascinating story in the fossil record.